This is The Secret Lies Within, and I'm John Trevelyan. The Secret Lies Within includes interviews, readings and performances in Talliston House Gardens in Great Dunmow. Talliston is an ongoing project where ordinary people take a very ordinary house and transform it with hard work and creative passion into a wonderland of locations from different times and places. This show focuses not on the house, but on the writers, poets, chefs, craftspeople, storytellers, musicians and other creative folk who are brought together to show just what people can achieve if they follow their passions and explore their bliss. For this show, I interviewed another member of the Talliston Writers' Circle. Duncan Swallow is an ex-research scientist, copywriter, technical and medical editor, health and safety trainer, and currently unwaged, but fills his days blogging and writing fiction. Works in progress include a second novel, having serialised the first online, and a memoir autobiography. So, when and why did you start writing a blog?
July 2012. Why? Variety of reasons. One, a vehicle for some of the fictions I was writing at the time. And most of the early posts were bits and pieces of stories and chapters from my first novel. And then I realised, reading some of the other blogs that I was getting to notice and comment on, that it's an ideal vehicle for just having a rant about things.
Yeah, sure.
Just having fun. You can get away with it as long as you don't take yourself too seriously, because the seriously ranty blogs are terrible reading. But if you're humorous about it, people will come along and read it.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And there was a third reason. Back in 2011, I had a breakdown. And I lost a year. It just went. Don't ask me what happened in that year. I've no idea. But as I came out at the end of the tunnel, I had no money, I had no job, I had no nothing, and blogging was a way of expressing some of the frustration behind that. You know, losing a year is quite a tragic event, to be quite frank.
Yeah.
And I also use the blog not to proselytise, but to make people aware of some of the problems of dealing with mental illness. There's a lot of us out there suffering, and it's even now terribly stigmatised. So part of the function of the blog was to destigmatise it and say, you don't have two heads and you're not infectious simply because you have some kind of mental illness.
Yeah, sure. The internet's been really, really good at raising awareness of people and their situations, you know, and a blog's a really good way of doing that. So it's got a rather unusual name. It's called Nobody's Reading Me. Why is that?
It's partly an accident. When I started the blog, Nobody's Reading Me was my username, and the default on the blog site that I use is that your username becomes the title of your blog. And because I was new to the game, I just used it. I thought I can change that at some later point, but it's become a very important part of the brand. People now look for Nobody's Reading Me in the same way that they look for the gravatar that I use, which I use wherever I appear on the internet. That's my gravatar. It's the bloke sitting in the diner.
Yeah, sure.
And yeah, it's an important part of the brand now. People floated the idea of changing the name, and people are outraged.
Yeah,
so
of course.
It's part of the branding, but it is an accident.
Yeah. The blog's just one part of your writing. I mean, you said originally you had your sort of your novel extracts on there. I mean, what else have you done, and how does that compare with what you're writing now?
I got my laptop in 2009, I think it was, because I was intent on writing a novel. I'd always promised myself I would write a novel, and I thought, well, there's no point just sitting around telling yourself you'll do it. Get on and do it. And that's exactly what I did. I wrote a novel. Prior to that, I'd spent quite a lot of time writing short stories, mainly for myself. I didn't put them into any circulation. When I used to work in the United States, I was very conscious of feeling as if I was simply a voice on the end of a telephone, because I was working in Europe, and I was either a voice or an email address. Mm-hmm. So I would write little bits and pieces, snippets, things that I would probably blog now if I thought about it. But back then, people didn't blog it at all. Mm. And I used to write film reviews, travelogues. I'd tell people about places I'd been to, things that I'd done. Mm. And at the same time, I was writing a spoof newspaper for my local pub, where I lived in Stansted, where I would take events and just dress them up as fiction. So the whole thing was fact-based, but very, very tongue-in-cheek. So that was another something I was enjoying very much. Again, I'd probably blog it these days, but back then print was king.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that all of these things definitely inform the stuff you're doing on the blog now. You know, they're just it's just a different medium, isn't it, of getting it to your audience?
Yes, it is. But as a result of blogging, I kind of got a bit more confident about the fictions I was writing, because some of the things I put on the blog were clearly fiction, and I was managing to pull it off.
Yeah, sure. And your site, Nobody's Reading Me. I mean, people are reading you now. I mean, you know, would you class yourself as one of the more successful blogs? Or?
You know, I'm a fraction short of 500 followers now, which means that those are 500 people who are notified that I've put something on my blog.
Yeah, sure.
500 is a pretty tidy number after just 14 or 15 months. I know people who had 2 at the end of their first year.
Yeah, there are a lot of blogs out there with people, and it's just their friends. But I mean, these are people who you have never met, who you don't know where they come from. They're just, So 500 is a very very
it's
good
a decent
figure.
number, I think. Yeah,
absolutely. We're actually in the office at Talliston. I mean, how did you end up being a member of the Talliston Writers Circle?
As a result of writing some of the fiction onto my blog, I started dabbling some more with short stories. And around about end of July of last year, I thought I could really do with some help here, because I don't really know what I'm doing. And as luck would have it, you had just about a week before put a flyer in the local library about the writers group.
Yeah.
So I fetched up here. I thought, well, it's got to be at least interesting to find other people and find out what they're doing, maybe get some advice on how I can get published.
Yeah.
What are the things that I need to do to make it work, and get some review as well, because I was writing a lot, but the people who were reviewing me were my friends, and they're not going to be very hypercritical.
Yeah, sure.
So I thought it'd be interesting to get the views of other writers, see if I'm actually doing anything properly here.
Yeah, sure. I mean, because that's the thing about the blog. I mean, people are reading you, but it's not that sort of setup that people would feed back criticism or, you know, things like that. I mean, you do actually need people who write to read your stuff to actually know, inform you. And I mean, what do you think the Writers' Circle gives you that you might not have otherwise? I mean, you've touched upon some of the things that you were looking for. I mean, yes, you were like one of the first writers here in the group. So, you know, what do you think you've done over the last so many months?
I've been very successful with my short stories now. Very successful. I do consider that to be a success story. I've had 40 odd published now online, and they're self-published, but people do read what I write. I would probably not have had the nerve to do that without having the backing of the Talliston Circle, who were very carefully critical about some of the stuff that I submitted to them. And I mean critical in the sense of constructively critical, not this is garbage. Without that, and without having some pointers as to where I could get my stories published, I probably wouldn't have published anything at all.
Yeah, sure.
And now, 12,500 reads later on, a lot of it is due to intervention from you and the rest of the writers' circle.
Yeah, well, I think we are very, very lucky that we've got people who come here that are very, very savvy with the technology and can say, oh, what you should be doing is you should be tweeting this, or you should be using this platform, or because obviously before people like Sarah came along, I hadn't heard of Etherbooks, and then there's Wattpad that you use quite extensively. So these are all channels for writers to get their work out there and shared, and to build up that confidence that that they wouldn't otherwise have.
The other thing is that the rest of the circle, the people I regard as the hardcore, are merciless in nagging. So if you're not writing, they want to know why. We don't sit around knitting. If you're not writing, people will want to have the reason why you haven't written anything.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something that it's good to see, because we wanted a group that was challenging and supportive, both. We needed that sort of input to get us all to the next stage of our writing. And I don't think there's many people who come back to the group who don't actually see some sort of benefit and in their writing. And there's a lot of collaboration of stuff that we do. Okay, well, thanks for joining me here, and good luck with the next 500 on your blog.
Thank you very much.
And now we're going to hear one of Duncan's works. Duncan had long had the idea in his head for a stage play that required only 3 characters, almost 0 props, and had a flash fiction approach. He got spurred into action by a competition called Pint-Sized Plays, which had the additional requirement of the play being able to be staged in a pub. Pint-Sized Plays is a yearly competition organised by a group in Pembrokeshire. First Date, a pint-sized play by Duncan Swallow. The scene, a gastropub. A couple enter, the man holding the door open for the woman and allowing her in first. Both are about 30. She is very good looking. He's a bit average.
Blimey, she's hot. I'd give her one. What's she doing with a bloke like him? Cool, bit of a gentleman, helping her off with a coat. Looks a bit uncertain about touching her though. Must be a first date. I might have to lend a helping hand here. All part of the service. Can I help you?
Yes, I have a reservation. Name of John Smith.
Oh, I'll just bet it is. Must be tricky when you check into a hotel, my friend.
It can raise some eyebrows when I'm checking into hotels.
I'm beginning to like this bloke. I was going to shove them on that table over by the toilets, but maybe not. Ah yes, here we are. Mr. Smith, table for 2, in the window, as requested.
I don't think...
Oh, bloody hell, dimwit. I'm trying to help you out here. The book never lies, sir. Window table 4-2, Mr. John Smith. Right here in black and white. I don't know why I bother sometimes. I really don't. If you'd follow me, please. And may I take your coat, madam?
The couple seat themselves at the table, the man waiting till his companion is seated before he sits.
Nice touch, son, waiting till she sits down. Bit of respect, but not too deferential.
Oh, this is lovely. Just right. Good choice, John.
Sometimes it's all worthwhile. And she has a great smile. Can I get you something to drink? I hope she doesn't ask for a mineral water or John's in for a lonely night, I reckon.
Oh, can I have a large vodka, please? No ice, but a slice of lime if you got it.
Ooh, looking good, John. Looking good. And for you, sir? Don't say beer, mate. Don't have a beer. You'll be burping all night. That's not a good thing on a first date. It really isn't.
I'll have the same, please.
That looks a little bit creepy, but I'll put it down to a bit of performance anxiety.
I'm sorry, we've been chatting and haven't had time to make a choice yet. Sorry.
Bloody hell, polite customer. Whatever next? Of course. Please, Take your time. Just don't dare click your fingers at me to get my attention.
We're not in a hurry. We can see it's busy, so come back when you have time.
My kind of customer, John. I'm going to look after you, my son. Are you ready to order yet?
I think I'd like the steak tartare, please.
Way, John, the gods are with you. She likes her meat raw. Know what I mean? Certainly. And for your main course? Don't ask me what's good. Just don't. It's all good. Don't ask.
Oh, lamb cutlets, please. And can I have them pink inside?
Yee, we all like them pink inside, don't we, love? John, this gets better and better. Certainly.
And sautéed potato, please, with green beans en beurre noir.
Ooh, a woman who likes her grub. Good news, John. Very, very good news. And you, sir? Don't have soup. You'll spill it all over the place with the state your nerves are in. And don't have the same as her. Don't have the same. It'll look well creepy.
Scallops with black pudding, please.
You do realise that comes on a bed of shredded leaves, don't you? You can make a heck of a mess with that, state of your nerves. Certainly. And to follow? Don't have fish. Don't have fish. All those bones, even if I fillet it for you, don't have fish.
I rather like the sound of the venison cassoulet with mashed potatoes and mixed vegetables.
Should be safe enough with that, mate. Just don't splash the gravy. Of course, would you like any wine with that? Say yes. Don't be a cheapskate. She likes a drink. The vodka's all gone.
Would you like to choose?
Careful, John. Might look a bit of a wimp here.
Can you recommend a red? Not house wine, that always tastes like vinegar and red ink. How about the Rioja?
Way, something with a bit of oomph. No poncing about with a Chablis for her, eh? It is rather good. It will go very well with what you've chosen. And she hasn't stuck John with a big bill for the Montrachet. Good on her for that.
Oh, that's fine then, thank you. Please may I have another vodka as well?
Way. Certainly. And for you, sir?
Yes, please.
Don't overdo it, my son. Looks to me like you're going to need your wits about you later on. Know what I mean? Seems to be going well here. They're on to choosing puddings now. She's obviously not in a hurry to get away. I reckon he's on a promise. Have you decided yet, madam?
Ooh, that one sounds decidedly chocolatey and sticky. I'll have it, please.
Way, she really does like her nosh. Got a live one here, John. And for you, sir? Please, not spotted dick and custard. Please, no. There's a place for nursery food and it's not on a hot first date.
I think I'd like some cheese, please. No need to worry about the board. I'll just have the cheddar. I don't have very sophisticated tastes.
My friend, have you seen the woman you're with? You couldn't be more wrong.
I think we should have another couple of glasses of Rioja too, please.
He reckons he's in. Mind you, I reckon he is too. Fair play. Way, John, you are definitely in. Fiddling with her hair, laughing, touching your arm. These are what are known in the trade as buying signals. Now stop this faffing about and take her to bed.
Could I have the bill, please?
Ooh, still being polite. Remarkable. Of course. Cash. He's paying in cash. I like cash.
Oh, should we go on?
She's offered to go Dutch. Brilliant. Definite shag here.
Thank you. And thank you for a really pleasant night. The food was great and you were terrific.
I'll second that. Thank you. Lovely. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Oh, I love this job sometimes. They're happy, I'm happy, and they've left me. Let's see how much. 10%? 10 sodding %? A measly, tight-fisted, miserable... There's gratitude for you. So, I don't know. I'll finish tidying up in a minute. I wonder what's on the radio.
Breaking local news. Police hunt Mr. Smith, serial killer. The The Secret Lies Within was produced by me, John Trevelyan, with the support of Talliston House Gardens. It's a project where ordinary people have taken an ordinary place and transformed it and themselves into something quite extraordinary. Find out more at talliston.com.